to the Revival League upper bracket quarterfinals. My name is Retro, and I'm joined here by Summon the Nerds. Hello, Summon. How you doing?
Hello, everyone. Hello. Are you ready to rumble? Some may say.
I am very ready to rumble. We had the Flying Fabians take on Eternity yesterday. It was a 7-0 on the very same map that we are playing here on Oregon. I'm hoping the FireBird and Voltage are going to make it at least a little bit, last a little bit longer than that. What do you think are the chances of this going a little bit longer than that? What do you think these teams are going to be up against each other?
I believe we have a far higher chance of these teams having a longer match and a bigger battle, as we can see the Voltage Gaming actually placing second in the Premier League for Revival, whereas FireBird placed third in the Champions League. So these are two teams from different leagues, one higher than the other, as Vibe came on top in their placements. But we can see that they both came in very similar positioning in that league. So we're yet to see just how it's going to go, but we're looking at some major players here, and I think it's going to be a very good game for us to watch. Very exciting.
Nice. Very, very exciting. And here we are out with some bans already. FireBird started it out with a Nook ban on attack. Not surprising, Nook can be quite annoying when you're defending. She can sneak up past those cameras, especially on Oregon. That freezer push is always something you got to be wary of. So a Nook ban is not surprising, followed by the Thatcher and Cade ban by Voltage. What are your thoughts on the Thatcher and Cade ban together from Voltage?
Thatcher and Cade is interesting, but I mean, it does leave a bandit in play, but that bandit's going to be a lot more easy to counter now for Voltage, especially as they're starting on attack. So if they need any walls electrocuted, such as freezer or any walls like that, it's going to be a lot easier for Voltage to get in at those walls, even though the denial is going to be on the board.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious about the Mira ban. Of course, banning out the Mira, who is a very strong operator, especially on this basement site. It does leave the Azami in play, which we do see the FireBird are bringing the Azami, and she can be especially annoying to deal with on most sites. But I think that basement site already being so difficult to attack for most people, this is definitely going to be a challenge from Voltage.
Oh, well, I mean, Azami is one of the most versatile operators we've seen in the game in a long time. I think she's one of the most powerful. Mira, again, a very powerful operator and a very good ban coming out there. She's got really good ways at opening a line sight like that, and she can, on the small box, you can see they perhaps open up head holes. You can safely peek the small box as a defender without having to have head holes or exposing yourself to see or using cameras with Mira's Black Mirror. So that's quite possibly one of the most important things that we could see on this map, which is good it's banned, because it will mean that there's going to be some exciting new players.
Very well said. Oh, and the action is already starting as they're pushing straight into Elbow. A couple kills coming out. Both teams now on equal numbers with 3v3, and only 30 seconds have gone. Equalized again after Matt took a kill. And suddenly it's all down to Lussie as Mac and Didaka are going to be pushing for site. 1v1, all to Didaka, diffuser in hand. It is the Ying. This could be the play of the game already. Oh, and it is actually going to be Didaka with a very good pre-fire onto the smoke to finish up the round. That was very quick.
Excellent play. Wow.
That was a rush. I was going to talk about the Wamai up in top tower and how he was on cams and realized, no, they're not going for anything else. They're just going to be going for blue and for elbow, and then they just rushed site and took the win. Quite a crazy round right off the bat. Did not expect that.
It's one way to come out with your guns blazing, to say the very least. I mean, they've kicked the door down there, and they've come out and they've said we're ready to challenge Vibe, who, despite being in the league above, again, play similar places, but they say they're ready to challenge them. We know we're a league below, we know that we're the underdog, but we're ready to win. I mean, straight away knocking them down to that 3 versus 3, and then bringing it down to a 1 versus 2. Luigi did ready, or Losi did well to bring it down to a 1 versus 1, but just couldn't find the bullet at the end, as he had that drum mag for the better information, and he knew that Losi was actually trapped.
Yeah, very well said. I don't know that they're going to be doing the same thing again, especially looking at that lineup. They got off the Ash, they got off the Ace, and the Sludge. They're going to be going for a more staggered push here with that Jackal, probably clear out some of that roam presence, alongside with Dokebi as well. Get those calls in, get some of that roaming covered off quickly on. Which is actually really good that they're not going for the same thing twice. FireBird are probably going to be expecting it, or are going to be a little bit more aggressive in the way that they play, to not allow for that. And we can see that here from Unknown, who's playing on top of these white stairs, to try and hold off that push. And very quickly, Hiram does go down. I'm not sure where that was. I think that probably was on that roam. I think that might have been an attic that he lost his life.
Yeah, I think he got picked off as he was roaming up top. But yeah, we can see that FireBird definitely preparing for that rush. I mean, we can see Huno, who's gone on to a Goyo, which I don't think was there in the first round. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think the Goyo was there in that first round. They bought it just in case they decide to rush again, so they can slow that attack. I mean, with the canisters and the 1.5, it's incredibly effective. You know, being able to sort of detonate it from range accurately, you're able to keep yourself safe as well as teammates and slow the attack. It's very important.
Definitely. And here we see the importance of the Azami as well. This is a very powerful position for the Azami to be in, inside of Freezer, covering off a lot of those angles with the Kiba barriers. But of course, being inside of that doorway could be a really unexpected play should they start coming into Freezer, and then, you know, you just pop up from the Kiba, get a couple kills, and none the wiser. But we do see that roam clear that they've decided to go for with the Jackal and the Dokebi has already done them quite a bit of a service with getting rid of Hiram that quickly on and forcing the Azami to back off back at the site as well. So with a minute left to go, they are ready to go for the execute. Those hatches open, that roam clear done, and they are going to be going for an execute on the northern side with those backstairs and that hatch drop, as well as pushing into blue, which they are at the moment. A lot of kills going out, a couple trades, 4v3 right now. 30 seconds left on the clock. Those smoke canisters coming out. Unknown gets another, and it's all down to a cross baby as the rest of his team gets decimated. Gets one, can't get the other as a cross angle is on him. And the first round for FireBird on the board.
Yeah, I mean, Losi's managed to redeem himself there by getting that final pick. Execute was going very well for Voltage. I don't quite know where it crumbles. I couldn't pick it out, but I think it just came down to manpower and pushing angles that were already being watched. I mean, they went into it with a 5 versus 4, which is ideal. They had Diffuser in hand, but those keeper barriers, I think, caused a lot of the damage. Those are mobile covers. You didn't bring a Zofia or anyone of the like to take them out. I believe they didn't have any nades left on their sledge. The best they could have done was a Habana, but that's a waste of Skyros, and I'm not sure if they had any left due to those hatches. So that was well played by FireBird. Excellent setup and a good defense.
Definitely. Really well pointed out. And I think, yeah, it was just losing their gunfights and pushing into angles that they had no way of countering. We did see that Warden behind that Kiba barrier. It was pretty much in between two Kiba barriers with not really a pixel, but it was a really tight angle onto those backstairs. That's pretty much impossible to counter from the stairs or from anywhere inside of Pillar. And then that hatch drop, of course, really tough to actually execute when you've got a Goyo to deal with and you've got smoke canisters coming out as well. So, as you said, really well done from FireBird, and they are going for the top floor defense this time around. They played the basement site twice, and now they're going for the sort of secondary site. Used to be the most preferred one, has fallen out of favor in that sense, since basement has gotten a lot stronger. And they are doing the almost default setup, but they are playing aggressively inside of Trophy. They do get the opening pick. That's Hiram down at the bottom of main stairs, I do believe was the kill. And that is a very good opener, especially onto that Iana. Those vertical nades are now gone, or just nades in general are gone. A lot of the utility will stay in place, Across Baby here is hunting the Valkyrie, and there goes Unknown. A really good pick there from Across Baby to equalize the scores again. Getting pinged as well as the Mute, and Across Baby with a 2K very early on to give man advantage back to Voltage after they lost that opening pick on the Diana.
Yeah, I mean, well, they've got man and health advantage now. Across Baby very lucky on that first pick on Uno. I mean, he was leaning the wrong way as Uno crossed that corner into him. I don't think either of them knew where either were, but still excellent gunplay to get that pick. We saw 2 spawn peaks come out from Huno and Hiram. Huno actually coming off worse from his. Hiram managing to get his kill but health, which currently puts Voltage at a man and health advantage with the user in hand, which is a very good place for them to be.
Definitely, and there we go. Lussie gets a kill onto Joke. That's now an equalizer again. The diffuser was cold on the ground for a moment, but they picked it back up. They have enough time to do this. They don't really have enough information, however. They've only got 2 drones alive in pocket for Crossbaby and the Dagger to try and gain a little bit more information about the positioning of these defenders. They do get another pick, and now it's all down to Lussie and Huno. Huno does get a kill, gets traded out, or gets another. That's a 2K there. It's all down to Mac, and it's Lussie with a prone angle and that shotgun in hand to pick up the final one and win another round here for FireBird.
Well played there by Lussie again, managing to clutch it up in those last few situations. I mean, Huno with those 2 picks were very important. I mean, they absolutely managed to shut them down, and we're going to see a tech timeout here as there's some issues on the side of FireBird which seem to be recurring.
Yeah, I think a tag timeout right now is definitely a good call from either their IGL or their coach. I'm not sure who called it, to just smooth out what's happening, to smooth out why they aren't gaining enough information, because I think that's where it sort of fell apart from them in that late round. They had still drones available. They had 2 in pocket on the IQ and the sledge, but they just didn't utilize them, which is where it ultimately hurt them, because they could have gained information about the positioning of the defenders. They just weren't able to do that, or didn't do that. So maybe they're probably discussing about gaining that information and not losing maybe bodies that early on, because they did get that opening pick onto the Iana, which forced them to play it a lot differently. They weren't able to get rid of that trophy shield anymore. Of course, doing anything vertically to get rid of that new jammer on the wall was also eliminated. So it was definitely a tough round for them to begin with. And they're probably just trying to smooth out those kinks and make sure that doesn't keep happening.
Yeah, I don't quite know what's gone wrong here. I mean, they've had to call timeout, but I'm not quite sure why they called the tack timeout, because there must be an issue. Possibly looking at Hiram, as he hasn't picked his operator yet. But hopefully we should get it underway soon. And very, very good points there, Retro. I mean, yeah, information is the biggest key to why Voltage is losing. They need to find that key, put it in the lock, and open the door in order to succeed in the rest of this game. But it's just waiting on to see if they can find the key. Can they get those drones out? Can they keep those drones alive? Can they keep their information finding alive? And are we going to see more from the IQ? We're seeing a lot of IQ played, but we're not quite seeing her gadget being put to the use that we know it can be. We've seen, IQ can have her pistol out at the same time. Solace does not have that luxury. I mean, Solace can have her detector out, but she can't shoot back. IQ can detect Solace and start putting bullets through walls at her. I'm hoping to see that in this next round. Again, I just don't think we've seen enough Lion. I don't think we've seen enough IQ. There's not enough information coming out.
Yeah, really, really well put, and good point about the IQ. And it also is a little bit bad knowing that they did have that information early on from the IQ, when the IQ was pushing down to and to Lossie, I believe. They were pushing into them down below, and they were able to get those kills from the drone things that were on them. So why did that stop then? But the person who was droning, did they die and then just they sort of fell apart on that information gain? That's what worries me about this play at the moment.
I mean, the only other explanation I can think of it is the 5 have learned their mistake, and they're currently finding those drones and they're putting them out of action. And we can see, you know, straight away hunting those joints. You can see his ability recharging now. So I just think it's down to either Five have learned their lesson, or Voltage just aren't learning theirs.
I could also be both at the same time.
Again, yeah, could be a mixture of both. But let's hope Voltage find their key castle and break through and get into map 3.
And it looks like Hyuna is going to be going for a very aggressive either spawn peek or run out, and he is going for a run out all the way onto the other end of the map to try to clear out somebody spawning there. Luckily, though, for Voltage, no one spawned there. They get Hiram again. That's another opening pick there onto Hiram. Oh, that was down in basement from Across Baby. Across Baby did take a little bit of damage in that engagement, but the damage from them has already been done, and this wall is now going to be quickly opened up, seeing as they have no more cover from those basement stairs to keep that from happening. They equalize as Lossie gets a kill with that SMG-11. That is a direct trade onto Across Baby, so that Nomad is gone. However, those air jabs have already been placed down, so not much has been lost, but that is going to be a big loss as they lose their Zofia Yuno with a kill from inside of sight. I think that might have been on the wall.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's a big loss, losing Zofia there. There's still shields in play and still other pieces of tech that you're going to need to be able to take out, or at least burn, for other operators like Yuriana to be able to get her nades in. But now we can see them having to stack up and clear the attic before they can drop in down below.
Yeah, and they can't even gain any more of that information because they have the Muzzy to contest with, as well as Hyuna on the Solus, so that drone gain is going to be lessened by both of those operators, or that information gain, rather. They've also got Yuno to contest with through these vertical angles up onto the hatch, and this is very much stalling their attack right now. They've got a minute left, and they aren't really in a position to drop and plant or to even attack site directly, and quite a few kills come out. It's all down to Mr. Gunter on a sliver of HP as he pushes down to this wall. They have spotted him on the cams. He has one to contest with on that hatch, and it will be FireBird to pick up the final kill to win another round. And FireBird have definitely bounced back from that initial loss from the rush in the first round, taking 3 rounds in a row.
Definitely, I mean, even in the rush, they were the Voltage were calling it Coriolis. I mean, we can see here the difference between the two leagues, unfortunately. We can see quite a clear set skill gap. FireBird have learnt their mistake, they've adapted to it, and they fixed the issue. Whereas Voltage just don't seem to be learning their mistakes, and they don't seem to be changing their game plan. They're just sticking to their rigid strats, which is fine, but you need to learn to adapt. Adaptation is the key to survival.
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
Yeah, definitely. If you cannot adapt, well, then you're just stuck doing the same thing over and over again, getting counter-stratted, and you're not really achieving anything. I think we saw a little bit of that yesterday in the game from Eternity, who just weren't able to adapt to anything the Flying Fabians were bringing out against them, and I really hope that, you know, this is just the result of Oregon being a defender-sided map here for Voltage. I mean, they're on track to maybe pick up a round or two more, put themselves on an even split, or not that far behind with a 4-2 split. But they don't really want to go to a 5-1 split here. This is going to really hurt them when they're going to the other half, because even though they are going to the more favored side, they're still going to have to win rounds to be able to translate that into a one map.
Yeah, they wouldn't really be able to afford to lose absolutely any rounds at all. I mean, they could maybe afford to lose one here or there, but again, you don't want to be losing any because that will still put them into an OT, and they want to try and keep it in regulation.
And the opening pick comes up from Hiram, this time onto Across Baby. That is their Ash gone very quickly, as well as the Iana. A lot of that firepower gone from both of these operators, as well as the only set of nades that they have on this attacking side. They brought this Twitch this time, but is that really going to be enough, especially at such a disadvantage? They have intel on Hyuno on these backstairs, but it's actually Hyuno that will win that gunfight. The crossfire comes in just a little bit too late, and Matt Mack does actually take a little bit of damage through that wall, and does get downed as well. There goes There goes him down as well. It's all down to Joke now in a 1v5. Minute 50 left on the clock, and Diffuser is in hand. Still got those 3 flashes. Still has all 18 pellets, but all of that requires him to not have the gun up. A drone is still in pocket. They have 3 drones alive. They're watching their flanks, but not much information can be gained when most of these defenders are all the way back on site or upstairs, not contesting. There we go. The first contention comes up from Huno. Joke does pick up the kill, but it looks like he's going to be immediately challenged by Hiram, and although that is a trade, it's FireBird that win it out with 3 more defenders to contest with.
Yeah, I mean, how the tables have turned. Hiram managing to get 2, maybe 3, I think picks it was, where usually he's the first one to die in the match. Well done to Hiram there. FireBird, an excellent lockout. I mean, leaving that player in a 1 versus 5 was almost impossible for a Hibana to win by herself. I mean, as you said, she'd have to pull out her Skyros and use those one-handed, but she was relying on just no one else coming up on her while she was, because she can't use any guns while they are using her gadget. But that was just a complete shutout. She was lucky to get that first, well, she was well to get the first kill. Unlucky trade, and I think maybe had she survived the trade, there would have been more to come. But Hiram managed to hit that headshot when Mana only hit the body shot.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate there from who was it? Joke. Yeah, it was Joke. That was really unfortunate there coming up from them. But I do also want to point out, although Siege is not a game of kills, kills aren't all that's important. I think that there is a quite certain disparity between these 2 teams. We see Losi and Huno both on 8 and 7 kills. Yuno on 4, Hiram and Martin on 3 and 2. And then the other side haven't really cracked 4 kills. They have 4 kills on Matmac, but that's it. They're not really hitting their shots. They're not getting those kills. They get those early picks, but then they're not able to really capitalize off of that. We've seen that happen from them. They've had the first kill, the opening kill, in 3 rounds so far, and they just weren't able to capitalize off of that. There we go. Another opening kill coming out from them. They get the opening 2, leaving them in a 5 versus 3 very early on. Really good opener here, just as I was talking about them not being able to capitalize off of having those opening picks. Maybe this is when the tides change. Voltage need this round to put themselves on a 4-2 split and have a better start to their defensive half. The Daka challenging through that Maverick hole does get shot down very quickly. Oh, but it's a cross baby with another kill. Absolutely hungry does get Losi. 4 versus 3 with 2 minutes left. More than enough time for Voltage to do everything they need to set up and execute.
Yeah, I mean, wow. I mean, it was Huno and Hiram who punished them last time at the start of the round, so it's good to see that they're getting their revenge. A 2 versus 4, they've got almost half the people they're attacking with. Huno looks like he's going to get greedy here. Ooh, wow.
Does get 1 kill. Does get immediately traded out, and they get finished off as well. Voltage finally take another round after that first one and after a meltdown in the middle. I don't know if the tac timeout helped them or just learning to counter this aggression coming out from FireBird, but they put themselves on a 4-2 split on their defensive half. This could go on a while.
I think we're in for a long match today, that's for sure. So I think it's time to buckle up and get ready to sit into a long match. Get your snacks, get your drinks, and to settle in for what could be quite a long game. I think we're going to see a map 3 at least.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by
I would really, really hope so, because we had Chalet and Oregon both yesterday. So I would love to see Cafe, especially because Cafe is one of those maps that is really that tends to run long for a lot of teams. We tend to see overtime quite a lot on Cafe, so I would love to see it and have it go all the way. You know, I love an all the way game, so that would be quite a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think it'll be very exciting. I think Voltage learned something in that round at least. Let's hope if they can carry it into the next few. However, they are on defense now, so it's a more favorable position for them. Now knowing what they need to do, seeing if they can apply it into their defensive aspect, and seeing if they can keep where they are and advance on their lead.
I do want to point out that it's quite interesting that they are going for that top floor defense first, rather than going for that highly preferred basement site, which most teams bring because, well, it's quite difficult to attack. And then, I mean, we saw it from FireBird as well. They won it 3 times, or they won it twice. The first time they lost it because it was a rush from Voltage, but it's a very difficult site to attack. So I find it peculiar that that's not the site that they're bringing out. They're going for that top floor site first, and early engagements coming out from Joke and Huno. Joke manages to pull away after wasting about 45 seconds of the attacker's time, holding them off. Across Baby here as well for support inside of Kitchen. Getting challenged, getting drowned out so far. No, a little bit of damage being done on the Joke, but apart from that, no damage being done onto anybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking very positive for Voltage now. I mean, they have the advantage as in site defense, and they've still got the manpower. How they are lacking a little bit of HP, not enough for it to be worrisome, as we know that Malusi's got 110 HP, so she's now just currently down to probably about 170. And they still got site control with 1.5 minutes left. And they're not really being challenged on the site, which is not something we want to see from an attacking thing. And just as I say that, an excellent nade comes out from Martin to shut them down, and gets onto Cross Baby.
And yeah, Across Baby, who was the only other roamer all the way down inside of meeting, does get shut down, leaving Voltage in a 2 versus 5 as Joe gets taken down as well. They do get a trade onto Martin, but he gets traded out as well, as it's all down to Mr. Gunter. The plant going down does shut down the Iana.
Attackers activating diffuser.
Does he know where they are? Does get one, but is immediately traded out by Losi. And there go FireBird with another round, putting themselves just a step away from match point.
Yeah, I mean, our hopes of a map 3 even are getting further and further away with every time I see FireBird Esports attack. I mean, they're doing very, very well. Despite not having much time left on the clock, they managed to pick it up all of a sudden. A nade onto one player and a frag onto another, and all of a sudden, Voltage's defense has crumbled. I don't know if they're picking off the key players every single time, or if Voltage just don't know what to do when things suddenly start happening around them. But Voltage need to pick up their game. They know what they need to do. We've seen it in the 2 rounds they won. Can they carry it across for the rest?
And they are going for the Dorm's defense again. So they tried it once, it didn't work. They're going for there again. I hope that they've learned what went wrong. Maybe they were a little bit too aggressive. Across Baby and Joke a little bit too aggressive with the way that they were playing, so they are going to be playing a little bit more passively, or a little bit more close to the chest. Of course, Across Baby not playing that Solus the way he did before, and Joke getting off of the Malusi, bringing the muted stud. So I hope that is what they need to win this round, because of course if they lose this, then they cannot afford to lose a single round more, or they lose the map. So I hope that this is going to be what they need, and that they're going to be able to pull a bit of a comeback here at 5-2.
Yeah, no, currently they've got a little bit of leeway as in losing round-wise. Like, they could lose maybe one round and then be able to bring it back later in the game. Gives them just a little bit of a second chance. But now this is a very, very paramount round. I mean, almost the money round, as they are relying on this round to keep them going for the next of the game. If they don't win this, it could get very, very dangerous for them.
And it's Mr. Gunter to take out Hiram as you were talking. That's their Lion gone off the board, and that's going to be quite a bit of information gone as well. With that Lion, of course, the E1Ds and those drones now are gone from Hiram. Another pick coming out from Across Baby onto Losi. That is their Habana gone. A lot of their hard breach potential is now gone completely. They have that Maverick still into Attic, but they have no other way of pushing into anywhere. And all 3 of the attackers, or 2 of the attackers, are focused on the Attic push. It will be Huno trying to push out from the other end of the map. However, he does have Diffuser, so if he loses it, this could be trouble here for FireBird.
Yeah, definitely could be trouble here for FireBird. I mean, FireBird already down 2 men, which is very important. As you said, Habana's gone, so they've only got the Maverick to help get him into sight or anything they need opening. And on top of that, the defense have all of their HP remaining. They're playing a far more passive game, which is something we'd want to see from them, because that's where they seem to be shining.
And quite a lot of engagements coming out. Mr. Gunter gets another one, as Huno is taking quite a lot of damage. It's Martin to pick up 2, but Huno will get down on that bedroom balcony. And there goes that diffuser that I mentioned earlier. That diffuser now cold on the ground right next to Huno's bleeding body, as Martin is trying to push through attic to maybe pick up some of these kills to try and close out this round. 40 seconds left on the clock. Not a lot of information, and it's a Crossbaby with the final kill, or it's the Daka with the final kill, and then Crossbaby finishing up the downed Huno on the bedroom balcony. Voltage definitely learned a lesson. They learned they were playing a little bit too aggressive, and they need to slow it down, which is exactly what they did. They dictated the pace of this round, and it got them the win.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as you said, the diffuser was down cold on the floor next to Huno's bleeding body. Bit of an odd choice for Huno there. He could have ran or made it across the balcony to the other side where there wasn't as much smoke, and he could have hopped in. But it seems to be he sort of sacrificed himself as he jumped into the smoke there. But let his efforts not be in vain. However, Voltage did very well. Yeah, they slowed down, they took their time, they held their angles, they looked when they heard a sound, and they got their picks. They hit their shots. That's what's important, and that's what won Voltage that money round. I mean, FireBird's going to be kicking their feet, knowing that they could have won that. But I think we're in for a good round now, as both teams seem to know just quite what they're doing.
Yes, they know quite what they're doing, but more importantly, they also know what their enemies are doing. They have by now, in round 9, have read the way that FireBird like to play. They've read the way that they can counter that, and this could be the start of something new here for Voltage. They are still bringing a little bit of their aggression in across Baby and the Vigil, as well as Mr. Gunter and that Oryx, but they could pull back at any time and play close to the chest. Close to sight should they get into unwanted engagements early on. A lot of that information already being wasted as it is across Baby, shooting out those drones and making sure that any intel from FireBird is lost as quickly as possible.
Yeah, they're hunting down those drones and getting ready to escape with them. Voltage are ready to set up for a tight dig in here. I mean, you can see already they've sort of got quite a lot of guys on the site. Or do they? No, I think they have 2 guys on site. Never mind. Not as much digging. It looks like they're going for a bit more aggressive, but still quite passive, if you understand. They're sort of sat in the areas they're meant to be holding, just trying to waste time as a Crossbaby gets a frag, but it does leave him knocked.
It leaves him knocked. However, he does have the support of Mr. Gunter right there with him. Does get finished off as they try to rotate into kids, and there goes Lossi with an important 2 kills. That is their roam presence gone. It's all down to Mac on that roam. It looks like he is going to be pushing back or pulling back the site as Didaka and Joke stay holding onto their positions, or maybe Mac is going to be holding onto the position for just a little bit longer. We do see that Dokebi hacked those cameras, revealing a little bit of information onto Mac and forcing him to shoot at that camera, so now defense won't know when they are starting to push down those stairs, and the hatch getting opened up as well. This could be a really good execute coming up from FireBird in equal man count, and still quite a lot of utility left to spend.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we can see now they've managed to... Lossi there was an excellent 2 picks there, shutting down Crossbaby and Gunter. That knocked out the roam, as you said, but that's brought them so much further. It's kept him alive, and it's meant that they're able to attack site more efficiently. You can see Hiram taking out as much information as possible, and defense don't have as much information as they need, because they've had to shoot the cameras and stop the DeKV getting the information onto them.
Yes, taking a lot of that utility. Didaka did pull away from elbow and reinforced it behind him, so that's going to be a little bit more of a tight hold here. Those smoke canisters coming out on the E-box door as well as they come for this hatch drop execute. Mr. Matt gets a kill onto Hiram, leaving these attackers in a 2v1 now as Losi gets a crazy pick, followed by Yuno getting another, and somehow, against all odds, it is FireBird Esports to take this round. I think that we definitely have to attribute this win to Losi getting those first 2 kills and then also getting that crazy pre-fire through the wall to bring the numbers a little bit closer to their advantage. Really well played there from FireBird.
Really good shot there from Losi. Had me gasping for air. That was absolutely outstanding. And Losi absolutely shut out the enemy team that round. That was completely on Losi's shoulders. He carried that FireBird to that victory single-handedly. Voltage have done well now, but they only have to win 3 in a row in order to stay in this map and stay alive. But I don't think we're going to see it. So far, we've only seen them win 3 rounds, neither of which were in a row, and they're on the tower. They are on defense, and they know what they need to do. They just need to bring it even closer and win more gunfights.
Yeah, they definitely do. I think that what really won FireBird that round was simply the people that they had lost. Because had they lost, the Habana immediately changes the course of the round. Or if they lost that Flores, again, changes the course of the round. Having that Habana alive late game allowed them so much more maneuverability in the round because they were able to open up the hatch. They were able to get those angles opened up as well. And of course, having the time on their side definitely helped. So it was a little bit luck of the draw considering who they lost and the fact that Losi was able to pick up those kills. I'm hoping that Voltage are able to close out this round this time around, especially considering that they are not playing as aggressively. But as I say that, it's Hiram, the Amaru, already on these backstairs to pick up the first kill onto Matmac. That is their Goyo gone, so not a lot of active utility being wasted, but it is a body being lost on the side of Voltage, making this a little bit more difficult to try and hold on to. That is a Crossbaby getting droned out as well. That grenade will be following up that drone. Luckily, he did rotate out, so he's not going to be caught by that. But he is having to leave that meeting hatch unattended, allowing them to break it open. But Mr. Gunter could be going for a hero play here as he drops that hatch. Narrowly escapes the Amaru who was hunting him upstairs and is now going to be in another hunter situation against Martin. It will be Martin to win out that gunfight, and Voltage are at a disadvantage yet again.
I mean, yeah, this round seems to be closing out for Voltage as it's a 5 versus 3. They've lost 2 of their ranged guns. I mean, both of those guns have a 1.5 on them. Last one we can see left alive is a Crossbaby with his 1.5, but that also only leaves them with 1 nitro cell, which could be used for anti-defusal along with the Toxic Babes. Martin doing very well. I mean, he's the only damaged player, so I think there's a lot to see. Hiram going straight in with an LMG could be quite possibly the winning play.
It definitely could be, especially as he gets quite a lot of damage down onto the Daka. Does get taken out here by a Crossbaby. A Crossbaby taking position inside of that pillar and actually pushing up those backstairs to try and go for a late flank. Without a Nomad, this actually could be very, very possible. However, the attackers have all rotated around to other positions. It will be a freezer and laundry push. They do get a kill onto Joke, and now it's all down to Didaka, the only player playing in sight still. A Crossbaby going for this flank is inside a freezer now. This could be the hero play. Does get the Iana. They're having to rotate again because those Toxic Babes and the Goyo canisters are holding them off. They pick up the Daka and they pick up a Crossbaby as well to win this map. Very well done there for FireBird. I think Voltage have to have a conversation between each other and talk about what happened and what went wrong for them in so many of those rounds.
Yeah, I mean, well done to FireBird. They did well to win the rounds. I mean, Voltage just lost their touch there, but nonetheless, it went very, very well for FireBird. They showed us just what that upper talent is made of, and what we can expect to see from the rest of the tournament as we just see more and more upper talent come up against each other.
Very well said. That finishes us up on Oregon. We'll be taking a short break, and then we will see you back here with Chalet between FireBird and Voltage. Voltage, this is a must-win for them to keep this matchup going and to see Cafe, as of course it is a best of 3. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Shelter me under your wing, and it's more simple than you thought, and reflects your company. The storm's approaching, and I see the dark within your eyes. Then you shine a smile and whisper, it's alright. Happiness is all I really need to keep my soul full and wear my heart up on my sleeve. Can't escape it, I can't outpace it. Can't stray off of the path you've flown so far. Instead of your last dance, take a second chance. Rebirth is waiting for you. Ignite your life.
Can't hold you back from destiny. It's your time now. Set yourself free. Can't hold you back from destiny. It's your time now.
Look back upon the night. It's always dark before the dawn. So simple, now you see. Strike the match to set you free. Get me high, I know right away. We be chasing our hearts till we end up falling. Young and alive, we were runaways in a wasted summer. Chemicals in a foreign car. We took a moment, made it last forever. We found love laying under the stars. Made in July in a wasted summer. don't give a damn about it. Say that I do. I don't wanna hear about it unless it's from you. Don't tell me that love is a game, baby. I don't wanna play the same old fucking games. Don't tell me that you're gonna change, 'cause I know that's what they always say. Baby, it's dangerous for you to try to control me. It won't be safe for us. That's not how love's supposed to be. The fact that you know me, you act like you own me. You're gonna be lonely soon, you'll see. Baby, it's dangerous. It's dangerous. You don't even care about it. Tell me you do. I won't even ask about it. You know that ain't true. Don't tell me that love is a game, baby. I don't wanna play the same old fucking games. Don't tell me that you're gonna change, 'cause I know that's what they always say. Baby, it's dangerous for you to try to control me. It won't be safe for us. That's not how love's supposed to be. The fact that you know me, you act like you own me. You're gonna be lonely soon, you'll see. Baby, it's dangerous. It's dangerous.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Revival League Upper Bracket Quarterfinals. We have quite the matchup here between FireBird and Voltage. My name is Retro. I will be joined by Summon again later on. He is currently unavailable. He will be back though, hopefully. But yeah, we just had a game on Oregon between these two teams. It went 7-3 in favor of FireBird. They had quite the explosive game all around, and Voltage are trying to pick up the pieces of what they lost and try to bring this back, try to bring this all the way down to Cafe. So they need this win to stay alive here in the upper bracket. If they lose this game, they are going down to the lower bracket to challenge. I believe it will be Eternity that they will be challenging to try and stay alive in the finals of the Revival League Season 1. But here we are with some bans. FireBird coming out with the Nook ban yet again. They banned her on Oregon as well. She's quite an annoying operator. She can sneak past any cams that you might have. Thankfully not past any gadgets, although that was going to be a bit of a rework that they were going to give to Nook. Glad that they make it past the test servers. Voltage followed up with a Thatcher and Azami ban. The Azami ban is not surprising at all to me, especially considering how much trouble that Azami was to them on Oregon. But just generally, she's quite a difficult operator to try and counter. Her only real counter. Well, not her only real counter. Obviously, she's countered by any type of explosive. But her best counter tends to be Flores. And he has quite a lot of counters, so it's tough to actually execute anything with that. The Jaeger ban is quite interesting coming out from FireBird. I think that is probably for that bar gaming site when you're defending inside of library, and that little corner makes it pretty much impossible to try and actually attack library and attack onto bar gaming. But whether that is their reasoning for that ban is something we'll see later on, as they are going for the bedroom defense first of all. They brought that Cade to try and keep this wall closed for as long as possible, which should be a lot easier to do, considering that that Thatcher is off the board. Voltage are bringing quite a lot of vertical utility with those nades and the Ash. An early spawn pick attempt coming up from Yuno does do a little bit of chip damage onto Mac, but it's not enough to actually kill him. So Mac lives to see another day, and it will be Hiram with a spawn peak on the other side to pick off a cross baby, and that is a little bit of that firepower that I was talking about. Actually, that wasn't a spawn peak, that was the Ash trying to rush up the fireplace stairs. A refrag does come out, however, from the Daka onto Huno to equalize these numbers yet again. And quite interestingly, actually, is that the Daka is bringing that Brava, which could get quite interesting against this Capcan. Of course, Brava, the new operator coming in with Operation Commanding Force, is an attacker who can hack defender gadgets and use them against defenders. So a Capcan trap will trigger onto a defender, as will a Melusi Banshee or a Prox alarm. Anything electronic that the defenders have will activate on the defenders. However, one of those clutch drones has already been wasted, and I think both of them might have been already wasted from the Daka. I'm not sure if one of them is just deployed but still alive, or if both of them are dead. So I don't think we're going to be seeing much of her utility being used, especially against those Capcan traps. So that's something that Voltage still have to worry about, especially with the lack of an IQ. It's questionable whether they are even aware of Capcan's presence and those Capcan traps being placed. And they might not need to be aware, as they're picking up these kills, leaving Martin and Hiram to fight for their lives. Hiram does pick up a kill, does pick up another. That's a very quick 3K there coming out from Hiram. Martin with a slightly misthrown C4. That diffuser is cold on the ground, so this could be the round for FireBird here. But Mr. Gunter is making sure that that is as unlikely as possible. Diffuser now in hand, gets up onto that bed and does actually pick up the kill onto Martin, who was of course on much lower HP than himself, and puts that first round on the board for Voltage. That is exactly the start that they needed. However, it did get rocky for quite a while there. They picked up the first round in the previous map as well, but it proved to not be as lucrative as one might think. Hopefully, it goes a little bit better for them, as now we see FireBird take it down to basement to try and defend that site rather than going upstairs again.
Locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Bring in a slightly modified setup here from FireBird. They are going to be reinforcing that kitchen hatch as well, which tends to be quite a polarizing subject. Some teams love to leave it open and play aggressively inside of kitchen, maybe with a shield, maybe without, and have it to fall back through. FireBird are clearly deciding that that's not something that they want to do, and a Cross Baby actually manages to run away with their drone. still baiting Yuno a little bit. That
Attackers'
Solus
objective
unable
is
to
to defuse
really
the bomb.
utilize utility at all, as all 10 drones are alive on the side of Voltage. That was really well done from Across Baby to keep that drone alive. But they are now aware of the fact that Solus is on that end. They're probably going to be hunting her down. But Hiram might be their first engagement, as he is the one who's playing upstairs. Quickly joined here by Yuno, as I think the rest of the defenders are all downstairs. They do spot out Mozzie, who is Hiram, has made his way all the way down into Solarium, and they are going to be hunting him down somewhat, wasting quite a little bit of time to try and clear him out. Yuno by now has already made his way back downstairs, and Yuno is going to be coming back up to try and support Hiram on this entry denial. They have quite a lot of utility to pour down this roam clear with those Dokebi calls and those Jackal scans. But the more of that utility that they waste now, the less of it they have for late round, which could hurt them in the end. Joke has made his way all the way down into the bottom of Fireplace alongside Across Baby, and it is Yuno with the first pick onto Dodaka on this northern side of the map. And this is what I was talking about. Some teams love to leave that hatch open to be able to fall back through it. Across Baby pushing in and catching Hiram off guard, picking up the kill onto Yuno as well, bringing the man advantage back into the hands of Voltage. As Joke is starting to open up these hatches as well. Make sure that they have as much coverage as possible. It will be Matt Mac to open up the other hatch inside of Fireplace and to commence this vertical attack as well. That block, of course, very, very powerful, clearing out a lot of these positions, forcing the defenders to play in positions they might not be completely comfortable with. It will be Yuno to be the next domino to follow as Across Baby takes up a 3K so far this round. Lossy challenging through these vertical angles, unable to pick up anything as of yet. Another C4 goes out. That's the last C4, or that's the last C4. Well, is now gone as Lossy loses his life as well. Martha trying to push up these Fireplace stairs does get taken out by Matt Mac at the bottom of the Fireplace stairs. Hears him walk up and picks up the kill. Right round there from Voltage. They are really showing that they can do this and that they are not going down without a fight. This is the first time that they've won 2 rounds in a row. So this is already a great start from them to try and stay alive in this upper bracket.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs. Bomb located by attackers.
They are going to be defending the bar gaming site this time. And I think this is where we're going to be able to see that corner come into play inside of library. That is a power position to hold on to, especially if you're playing somebody like Doc or Womai. It makes it really difficult to clear out that player. And the upstairs presence is going to be quite important here for FireBird to try and hold on to site. Something I want to point out is that they haven't gone, they haven't played a site twice so far. They've played 2 different sites and they're going for a 3rd site now. I think they might be trying to scout out what they can win so that they know what should be their primary site, which is really unfortunate that hasn't already been figured out, as it puts them on a bit of a back foot. And an early engagement from Across Baby does take out Martin. That's the Doc on a very low HP, but the damage has been done. That is the Amaru making their way inside of the map very, very quickly on. That flashbang does give away their position, and Yuno is the one to pick up the kill. That's a trade, gone, and we've equalized again. Only 45 seconds have gone of this round, and already 2 people are dead. However, I think that the action might stall a little bit for a while, or maybe not, as Hiram is getting engaged onto quite heavily. Has to pull back all the way inside of library, and a pixel angle does reveal his position. Mac misses those shots just a little bit, but it's enough to force him to rotate away. A lot of this top floor presence is now in the hands of Voltage. Trying to do a little bit of damage from below, unable to do that successfully. Is aware of somebody being outside of the front door, but it's a little bit of a ring around the rosy as the Daka manages to fall back and away. Scot-free. This might be a bit of a cat and mouse chase through the basement. Should Juno decide to engage in it that way, or it might just be the Daka pulling out from basement to get a kill. It is the Daka who pulls out from basement and does get a kill onto Yuno. An immediate trade does come out to take out Joke, and that diffuser is called on the ground. Now the Daka picks up another one. That's Hiram gone off the board. It's all down to the smoke and Alibi to try and close this round out for FireBird. But Voltage have 45 seconds left on the clock, and they still have ample information to gain. This could be another round for them, but Losi does pick up another kill, opening up quite a bit of possibilities. However, it's the Daka to pick up another, and it's all down to Huno against Mac and the Daka. That diffuser will be in their control now, and they are going to be going for the plant inside of bar. That hatch still closed means that Huno is having to drop the other one, and it will be the Daka to clean it up. I think that is a 4K there from them to close out this round. Really, really well done from Voltage. That's now 3 rounds in a row that they won. They've secured themselves an even split on the half, and that gives them a lot of breathing room. It will be FireBird trying to go for the bar gaming defense again. That is the first time that they're playing a site twice. So let's see how that goes for them here.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
A pretty similar lineup. However, they are bringing that Melusi this time in place of, I believe, Muzzy might have been. I'm not sure. But they are bringing that Melusi. Oh, it was Duck. It was Duck that they were playing before, Martin. Yeah, they are bringing that Melusi this time to try and slow down that attack. Definitely slow down anything coming out from an Amaru potentially. And of course, the Daka pushing out from basement is what won Voltage that round. So they definitely want to prevent that from happening again, as it lost in the round.
Attackers' objective is to defuse the bomb.
And the attack is coming up from the western side. 15 seconds have gone. So far, no kills. That is a good sign. No one has gotten spawn peeked just yet or died on the spawn peek attempt. And the Daka, the Brava, is already making swiftly through these defender gadgets, cleaning up these cameras and taking them for the attackers. An early kill going on to Yuno from across baby to start off this round and the action of this round so far. That is the Solus gone off the board as well, which is a really, really important operator for FireBird to hold on to, or to try and hold on to for as long as possible. Those cams spotting Hiram as well, having to shoot that out, so that's facility being lost as well, or I guess it was already lost technically, from the Brava. Martin in getting engaged from multiple angles. Does pick up one, takes a lot of damage in the process, however, does get taken down, immediately traded out, and another trade comes out as well, leaving this all down to Mac and Gunter as FireBird pull all the way back to site and hold this a little bit close to the chest. pushing down these fireplace stairs, is now Voltage Gaming. That will be Gunter to go down next. It's all down to Mac on this hatch. No diffuser in hand, having to contest multiple angles and having to go up against multiple defenders in a 1v3 with limited information, actually no information whatsoever, and no utility whatsoever as well. Those smoke bays will be forcing him away and forcing him to rotate around to where the diffuser is, however, not to where anybody else is. So no easy picks will be given away. All eyes on Mac as he is trying to clutch this out. This is probably a moment for Voltage to slow down and talk about what's happening, what's happening and what to do next. The focus might not necessarily be for Mac to clutch this out, but rather to just
10 seconds to go.
try and discuss the game at hand
5 seconds.
as that clock will run out and win FireBird their first round in this half. Really well done there from FireBird to hold on and win a round finally. That was definitely down to, I think it was Yuno getting those kills, or maybe Hiram getting those kills early on and making sure that any advantage that had was gone as quickly as it was gained, which is what they were missing in earlier rounds, where they weren't capitalizing off of the advantages that they were gaining.
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
And they are going for a kitchen dining defense this time, which is another round that they haven't played so far. So they're still choosing to not go either basement or office. They are going for a completely different site. I think they've by now figured out that bar gaming has got to be their site. Since they played it twice and they actually won it once, which is the only set that they've actually won. So they are going to be trying to see if they can win kitchen. But if they win kitchen, that doesn't really leave them with much information because they will have to repeat one of the other two sites, seeing as both of these will be locked out for the final round of this half. And the attack has already started commencing from the western side. All of the attackers pushing this library balcony. Their only real pushback will come from Martin the Muzzy at the top of library stairs, and it will be Huno to get the first kill, Martin to follow up, and that is quite a lot of firepower being wasted from the side of Voltage, as well as those frag grenades gone now from Sledge, and any self-destruction that Sledge could have achieved is also gone. Martin makes his way all the way back to site safely, as does Huno, leaving Voltage in quite a predicament at the moment to try and hold on to this and to try and win it out. Oh, but it's going to be a lot harder as it's now all down to Gunter. It's a flawless round from FireBird as they find their footing and win a site twice in a row. Or win a round twice in a row. Really, really well done there from FireBird, but as I said, they are going to have to be going for one of the less favored sites, or at least less favored to them. It's both sites that they've lost, and they are going to be going for the basement defense. It's going to be probably a little bit challenging to try and go back there again, seeing as they lost it last time, and I don't know if they've learned anything from their loss, considering they didn't go there again, but hopefully they did, and hopefully they will adapt. They're bringing pretty much the exact same lineup as before, so hopefully it works out. Actually, it's completely different. They're not bringing the smoke or the warden. so it's slightly different, but still similar to what they had brought earlier. And it will be another aggressive play here from FireBird, playing, of course, that Solus and the Mozzie, which we saw that on Oregon as well. Whenever they played aggressive, they did quite well, and whenever they didn't, well, it fell through. So hopefully this will continue to be their strong suit, and they will be taking advantage of it. However, that aggression is being very quickly, or the aggression from Voltage is being very quickly punished by the sort of counter-aggression coming out from FireBird as they take out that Ash very early on. It is Martin on about half HP, but still not down for the count. And there goes another kill. There goes Mr. Gunter down now. That will be their Jackal. I'm not sure where exactly he died. Might have been on this office balcony door, or maybe on that piano window. Joke taking quite a lot of damage, as is Mac. This is all looking quite grim for Voltage, and it's looking ever more grim as it's all down to Mac on quite low HP against 5 defenders. And only about a minute had gone at the point where all of the attackers had died. On a sliver of HP now, and that C4 will get shot out, but it will be the shots from the SMG-11 and to pick up another round for FireBird to even out this half. Really well done for FireBird to hold on to this map and not let it slip away. I think this will definitely be quite the game ahead of us, or quite the map ahead of us. And on the first round of their defense, we see Voltage Gaming also bring out the top floor defense first. Of course, the mid-floor sides tend to be the more favored ones for a lot of teams. So I find it interesting that both teams have decided to come out with this site first. Voltage Gaming are deciding to not bring the Cade the way that FireBird did. However, they are bringing that Solus, they are bringing Mute, they are bringing the Mozzie, they're bringing pretty much all of the operators that FireBird brought, except for the Cade. And they are going to be reinforcing these walls, I sure hope.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb.
That would be quite an interesting strategy to just leave them soft and let the attackers push in straight away. I'm sure there's a strategy out there that involves exactly that, but I personally haven't seen it. So, but that isn't what they're doing. In any case, it will be Didaka in this quite aggressive position here on the side of Library, getting engaged by already. We're getting engaged onto already by the Ash. A couple of bullets coming out, but so far no damage being done onto either player. And he's stalling them quite well. Already a minute gone, and they have no map control whatsoever to be gained as of yet. He is being supported by Mr. Gunter as well at the top of Library stairs, making sure that nobody pushes up secretly. But it will be Huno and Martin pushing down, or pushing up these blue stairs. Martin gives himself away by shooting at that camera, and especially by missing those first couple of shots. Mr. Gunter, now aware, does break that hatch. Didaka taking quite a lot of damage on that wall as the attack starts to come into Library. It is across baby to pick up one as Didaka picks up another. They do take care of Mr. Gunter, but it is the rest of the team that is absolutely pulling their weight here and taking care of all of the rest of the attackers. It's all down to Yuno and Lussi now. Of course, that is the Lion and the Thermite, so they're able to breach this wall. The fuser is in hand, so they could try to go for a plant here. However, they still have that piano shield to clear out, and they can't really go for a half-wall plant until that is cleared out. They have no utility to clear that out. They have those flashes, so they could burn some of those. Actually, there's no ADSs, so they could clear that out with a Gun 6, which I think is exactly what Yuno just did. So that's the shield gone, but they still have 4 players to contend against. And they have rotated away from each other. It's across maybe to find another, leaving Lussi all to himself on this balcony, and I think that this might be another round on the board for Voltage Gaming. Lussi does find 1, finds 2, and this is suddenly winnable, but with only 8 seconds left on the clock, he will have to go for the kills. He doesn't have time to plant, and it's Tadaka to pick up the kill to win the round for Voltage Gaming. Great round there from Voltage to bring it back and to stop the momentum that FireBird were slowly gaining. Also noteworthy is the fact that they won their opening site. They won their primary site as opposed to FireBird, who had lost their first site.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
They are going to be going for the bar gaming defense this time around, which tends to be the favorite site, I think, in competitive play for quite a few teams. But the sort of surprise visit is coming up from Frost, who could be quite a crucial operator. Of course, you need an operator to bring that shield to play on top of library, and why not bring those welcome mats alongside the shield?
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
Of course, could be quite an issue for FireBird. They escape that spawn peak from across baby and stay alive as this round begins. And they are going to have to do a horizontal push onto this vertical defense to try and clear out this top floor presence and try to make a push onto the bar gaming site. But a lot of these drones coming out, but it will be the Solus and the Muzzy to clear out at least some of that drone utility and make it that much harder for FireBird to gain any information. It's Huno making his way already through the map, confident that they've cleared out any of the roamers from this end of the map, and now is when the challenge really begins. They know exactly where Joke is, they have an accurate ping on him, and it will be Martin to push into him as Joke gets downed elsewhere.
Bomb diffuser has been dropped.
They do pick up a refrag onto Lussi, and that's the fuser called on the ground as well.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
But they pick it up very quickly and make sure that all of that damage is minimized. Of course, that is their hard breach, so any hard breach potential that they, any reinforced walls that they might have wanted to open up are now unable to be opened. I think it will be across baby in the next engagement here, or maybe Mac on this shield. Of course, they still have 4 nades left in pocket that they could use to clear out that shield, but until they do clear out that shield, they can't really make their way anywhere. However, it is Yuno and Martin who have already made their way quite close to site. And with 50 seconds left on the clock, maybe that's exactly what they need. It is a cross baby with a flank through West Main to pick up a kill and get that diffuser on the ground. All of the defenders are rotating all the way around to try and get control of the diffuser. It is Yuna to pick up the diffuser and pick up a kill. It's all down to Mac on a very low HP, and it's Yuna to pick up another, and that's another round on the board for FireBird. Wow, these teams are just hell-bent on going back and forth. After that initial first 3 rounds won by FireBird, it has just been back and forth. Quite the matchup that we have here for us. Voltage will be trying that site again, seeing as it didn't work before. They're going to be trying it now. They did get quite close, and they had diffuser in hand. They just lost their gunfights there at the end, but that's what lost them the round. So hopefully they are going to be able to rectify that in this round and win it.
Attackers have located the bomb.
Laying out the welcome mat.
And we see the Solus already making sure that some of this drone utility is being wasted. 3 of those drones gone from the side of FireBird, and they're going to be needing that information come later on in the
Attacker's
round.
objective is to defuse a bomb.
So they are starting this round on a bit of a back foot. Are they? Oh, they are now. There's another drone. Gets shot out. I apologize, it's just the top left corner graphic showed 3 X's in the prep phase and then showed only 1 when the action phase began, so I think that might have been a bit of a visual bug there from the game, but yes, some of that drone utility is being wasted already, and that Solus will go down as Martin pushes straight into the basement. He will be getting engaged here by Joke inside of dining very early on. Might already be aware of his presence there. Uses one of those ash charges to clear out a mute jammer, of course, to allow for easier droning from his teammates. He will be going for quite a wide swing here against Joke. That C4 comes up from Joke as well. Joke peeks him. We peek each other. Still no lives lost. No, more lives lost. I think Across maybe might have also disconnected as Martin picks up a kill onto Joke. Getting immediately re-engaged by, I think that would be Mac. The Daka does pick up a refrag. Finally, Mr. Gunter, unaware of the fact that he had downed Martin, as Yuno gets taken out elsewhere as well. And all of a sudden, the action has brought us down to a standstill and a 2 versus 5. The Habana is still alive, so a lot of that hard reach can be achieved. And they are wasting all of that utility now. As those flashes come out and clear out that shield, that frag grenade will pick up Mac. And it's all down to the Daka is in quite an engagement here against both of these remaining attacking players who have decided to stall it out just a little bit. 30 seconds left on the clock, and they have to push him. They have that diffuser in hand, so they could go for sight, but they are going to be going for the kill, and they do pick it up. It's another round on the board here for FireBird. They take the advantage yet again and put themselves a step away from match point.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
They are going for that bedroom defense again. The last time that they played this, they won it. It has finally been locked for them, as it was locked the previous few rounds, so they are going back here to try and close it out again, and to minimize the advantage that FireBird have gained winning that previous round. They do not want this
10 seconds left before
going to FireBird, so they are going to try and hold on for as long as possible and hopefully win this in regulation so that they can get on to Cafe soon enough. Some of these spawn peaks coming out again here from across baby onto the attackers. However, I don't think anything is going to be gained as 20 seconds. We've got 30 have already passed. And everyone's still completely intact, so those will not net anything. But that will, and a vertical angle does take out Hiram. It's a vertical angle combined with a shotgun to take out Hiram. It will be Joke who's getting challenged, and this time it will be FireBird to win out that gunfight. And Martin will win out another gunfight. However, Yuno and Martin are both on low HP, so this isn't quite so lost here for Voltage. We still have a C4 in hand from across baby, so that is still quite a lot of utility for them to have a hold of. And across baby will be playing quite aggressively here, or rather just try to get that drone, make sure that FireBird have as little intel as possible. Their hard breach is still alive, so they could still go for the wall if they wanted to. They have those impact TMPs in the hands of Lion as well. So this is quite a good position for FireBird to be in, on top of having man advantage. And it will be Martin to pick up across baby. That is one of the two players that had full HP on the side of Voltage. It's all down to Matlack and the Dakanal both watching inside of Piano, as that wall will be getting opened up by the Habana to try and set up for and execute. Flashing out and clearing out the utility inside of Piano, making sure that that shield is gone, and making sure that the Daka is gone as they pick up Martin, as Martin picks up Uno as well. And there goes another round for FireBird. They put themselves on match point, and this could all be over right here, right now. Voltage need to win 3 rounds in a row here, or 2 rounds in a row here to put themselves into overtime. If they don't, they lose the matchup and they go down into the lower bracket. So if they want to stay alive in the upper bracket and make sure that they have that lifeline of the lower bracket relegation later on down the line, they need to win the next 2 rounds.
Attackers need to locate
and they are going to be going for the bar gaming defense again. The last time they played here, they lost. They lost twice here. I think my notes are a little bit wrong, but they did lose here twice in a row. It got really close there one time when a crossface picked up the diffuser inside of West Main, but they weren't able to close that out, and then they just lost it on positioning the round after. So hopefully they are able to close it, or they are able to win it out here and stay alive for a little bit longer, bringing that Capcan this time. I think for the first time on the side of Voltage, we saw it brought out from FireBird early on in the half, or early on in the game in the first half, but I don't think we've seen it come out from Voltage just yet. And I mentioned this in the previous map as well, although I think I mentioned it a lot earlier than round 11. But although Siege isn't a game of kills, you know, there's quite a lot of nuance there. And as I say that, the two top fraggers on the side of Voltage, the Daka and a Cross Baby, both with 10 and 11 respectively, do go down pretty much immediately from Martin. Yuno is being put down onto just a sliver of HP, I think, from a run out. There's still quite a lot of advantage here in the hands of FireBird. It is Dossie who is challenging this supply closet angle against Joke. Joke playing it a little bit more passively than just peeking straight into it. It will be Yuno on the hatch, and it will be a lot of these vertical angles getting opened up. It's Joke that wins out the vertical angle against Martin, and it picks up another one against Yuno. However, that is the two players who are on low HP, so now that puts FireBird back into the HP advantage, and I think that nade will be the death of Joke. I was correct. Hiram does go down, or Hiram does pick up another, and he picks up two. It's all down to Gunther with that diffuser going down. Tries to hit some of those shots, but unfortunately, it's not enough. Hiram picks up the final kill, and it's GG's as FireBird close out this map 7-4. That is 7-3 and 7-4 back-to-back for FireBird. A huge win from them here. They continue on in this tournament through the upper bracket.